here's the tricky part, man. The guilt. This is the Hank Reardon issue. When you look at your mother, and you look at your wife, and you look at your brother, and he actually figures out the weapon that you have against me is my love for you. If you lay it out the way that you laid it out, I understand exactly what you mean. But you have to have full context with that, because when you make decisions, people who don't make decisions sometimes get upset because their approach to life is you're going to handle it.
Right.
This is their strategy. I've got you. You handle the things, and if you don't handle them, I'll make you feel bad. And then once you feel guilty, you'll give me the stuff. Like you said, they know what they're doing. There was this other case, I can't remember. I think this was, do you know who the guy was? The Oklahoma State billionaire. It was like TD something, or T-Boom Pickens. You ever heard of somebody like this? Oklahoma State University, I think his name was T-Boom Pickens.
Wow, that's exactly right. T-Boom Pickens. Good job.
Cool. Yeah. So he had this story. I don't know if he went to Russia or something. I think this is T-Boom Pickens. I hope I'm not messing this up. But he went over somewhere. It was another country, and they were saying, like, he was like, "Oh, we're not going to do anything." He was trying to make a deal, and the guy was like, "No, we're not going to do the deal." And it was like, we are not going to do the deal because we know that you're going to give it to us for less. This is
That's awesome.
And I don't know if the deal got done. I don't think it did, but it was just a play on America's being gullible and trying to, fix the rest of the world, or, I need to pull the story up again, but that's the sense that I have of it. But I think it was T-Boom Pickens that had this story.
That's funny. Yeah, I always find it humorous in the process of negotiating. People decide, like, the best negotiation tactic is to make sure the other party feels powerless. Let's go ahead and just antagonize them and just see what happens when they give into it. Like, I mean, that works, but eventually people learn, like, oh, I don't give a fuck what you think. It's okay. I'm just going to do whatever I want now. It's like, you can't guilt them or strong arm them into this. You can't shame them into just going along with the crowd when you're two independent people. When you show up to a deal and you're both doing okay and have all your needs met, you can't just show up and like, well, you're gonna have to do what I say now. It's like, I don't think that's how negotiations work. So I'm definitely not gonna have to do anything I don't feel like doing. It's like, well, you're gonna have to. It's like, no. So you want me to? You've mistaken your position. I don't work for you. You're treating work for you, but I don't. We're negotiating. You giving me something, but you still not giving me something. So I definitely don't work for you yet.
But to me, that's the interesting thing about trade, because, man, this is a broad thought. There is this you have to make these concessions sometimes,
right?
Because think about it like this, and this is what's popping in my mind. And I hope this doesn't turn into a dumpster fire of a thought. I'm thinking about, like, it's not Oren Boyle. Is it Oren Boyle? Did Boyle have the oil in Atlas? Oh, I can't remember. But it just becomes this thing.
I get it. Oil. No, he's ahead of steel.
Okay. So whatever the guy was that had the oil fields. Right. The point of it is, it's like, people who want to make money and who are rational, and I don't necessarily just use that fictional theoretical case, they need people who aren't rational a lot of times, right? And this is the whole reason, in my opinion, that you get you see how the rich people are taking advantage of the poor worker, and it's like, well, you got people who aren't making decisions dealing with people who are making decisions, and this person wants to make money, and this person is just in survival mode / they're just not making decisions like that, in my opinion. And not all of them, many of them in certain cases. And the whole thing is, when you can't, it's like having a conversation with an animal sometimes. Like, they're not really negotiating. They have things that they want, and they're not thinking about what you want, or what you might like, or what would be a good trade here. They're just like, I want this thing. And
yes. You will give it. I want the thing. You will give it to me. because I am confident. I'm confident you will give this to me. Why? I don't worry about why. I want it, and therefore you will give it to me. Do we have a deal? Like, that's not a deal. What are you talking about? Have you forgotten everything that goes into this negotiation? Like, no, I'm confident. I was told I need to show up and be confident. I'm here to make a deal. Do we have one?
Yeah.
You said all the steps of negotiation. So no, we do not have a deal. We are in the same position we were before we started.
But then you could
Ellis White did.
Ellis White. Yeah, but a lot of times those people that I'm talking about and you kind of allude to, those are people who can pull the "I have been marginalized" card.
Right.
And that's their chess piece. I went in there and I talked to him just like any other rational person would talk to him, and he rejected my deal. Nobody knows that you didn't really offer anything.
Right. You just walked in there and stuff, made more demands, and then were upset when your demands were met. I'm like, it's not a hostage negotiation. What are you doing?
They rejected my deal because I am X, because I am Y, because I am... No, because you didn't offer anything. But there are people who don't understand they don't understand negotiation at all. That's why people don't understand capitalism. To be honest,
people don't understand capitalism because they don't understand production either. I think that's also to me, it is shocking how many people don't realize that goods and services come from somewhere. Like I did not realize that in people when they're like, these people would get out here and say things where the goods and services are divorced from money. I'm like, no one believes that. No one would say that. That's crazy. And then I watch it actively happen over and over again, both in political discourse and in real life. And I'm like, oh, I was way too naive. I thought everybody would acknowledge the bare minimum that like the factory goods came from the factory. I thought we all at least could get to that point. Apparently not. I have to say that part out loud. Okay.
The stork brought it. That's a lot of people. They're just not thinking. And once again, like if you take it back to the primitive mind, they just don't have that capacity, or they can context drop. But one example, and I don't know if I've ever brought it up in here, and this is like what I tell people though. Wherever you're sitting right now, just if you're not in the wilderness, you got a phone or whatever. If you're watching this or TV, if you look around your room, everything you see was somebody's vying for life. Every single thing, the paint on the wall, the sheetrock, the wood, the electrical plate, the electrical switch, the electric, the lights, the table, the paint on the table, the nuts, the bolts, the space itself. Somebody was vying for life. They offered you their goods, their services, their labor, so you would pay them. So, and that's why that you've gotten developments that you had. I'm on a screen. I'm looking at a camera. If nobody paid people for this thing, it would not be here.
And if nobody made it, there wouldn't be anything for someone to pay for. It would not be here. It's crazy to have to say that out loud, but it's like, this is not expected. It wasn't nature. This is all man-made. Somebody had to do something. Man, it's crazy.
And people don't want to compete. They feel like, oh, well, like you said, this just exists in nature. Mm-hmm. We should just take it over. We should just
eat the rich, take their stuff, make them pay their fair share. I'm like, oh, that's not how finances work at all. You don't get it. You don't get it. You think because you outnumber them, that makes you personally more powerful than them. But they are aware that other people exist. Mm. They have paid those people to defend them. They're not confused. You're confused. You're like, I'm just going to overwhelm them with numbers. And they're like, they could overwhelm me with numbers. I'm going to make sure I make that part of my risk mitigation plan. And they have thought through this, whereas you are starting the process of thinking, they have already finished this, prepared, and it already moved to the next stage. I find that it's sad, it's disappointing, but it's unnecessary to have that conversation. When people say these things out loud, that is the time for people to educate them and say, the rich are prepared for you. They're not confused about this, but you are misunderstanding where your things come from. These people are only rich because you keep giving them money. If you take their money, if you take away the resources for them to help you, they will just stop helping you.
Yes. I mean, I guess but here's the tricky part, man. The guilt. This is the issue with Hank Reardon. This is the Hank Reardon issue. Yes. When you look at your mother and you look at your wife and you look at your brother, and he actually figures out the weapon that you have against me is my love for you. It's Superman Part 2. What it is Zod, when he figured out, I know Superman's weakness. He cares about these people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to destroy these people. You know what I'm saying? And so but you can't, if you lay it out the way that you laid it out, I understand exactly what you mean, but you have to have full context with that, because when you make decisions, people who don't make decisions sometimes get upset because their approach to life is, you're going to handle it.
Right.
This is their approach. This is their strategy. I've got you. You handle the things, and if you don't handle them, I make you feel bad. And then once you feel guilty, you'll give me the stuff. And this is the same thing about the T. Boone Pickens story, because it's like, oh, struggling country, we need to do this deal. We know you'll give it to us because look at us, we're struggling. And it's like, this works, but unless you don't let it work.